Sandra, good to see you again. It's been a while, right?
Yeah, it has. We're
Yeah,
back.
we're back. Our last video was all the ways back in January,
Yes, yes.
and a lot has happened since then. So
A
we're
lot.
gonna, yeah, we're
A
gonna
lot.
go through all of those things. So, but number one, biggest one, obviously, we actually went on the trip,
The
right?
trip that we created tours for
Mm-hmm.
happened.
Mm-hmm. So
Amazing. Where did we go?
amazing. We went to Taiwan, and it was, honestly, it was like one of my favorite trips in my entire life, for tons of reasons. But it was just a really, really
Yeah.
great trip.
What was your favorite thing about the trip?
I would have to say, I really love lots and lots. So there's a whole
Mm-hmm.
video playlist on YouTube.
Yeah.
But my favorite would have to definitely be on Xiaoliuqiu. When we saw the sea turtles, like
Mm-hmm.
I was out in the
Yeah.
water, I wasn't even looking. I was just like walking and almost stumbled on a
Yeah.
sea turtle.
And then he
Just
screamed.
and then I screamed. I was like, "Oh, come to check it out! Check it out!"
Like turtles.
Absolutely amazing,
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. What about you? Like, what? Lots of memories, right? What
Yeah,
was your
lots of
favorite part?
memories. So I would say memory-wise, Shaliocho.
Uh huh.
Favorite stay though would have to be our B&B
Uh huh.
up outside of Jofen,
Mm-hmm.
was it
Mm-hmm.
where?
金瓜石, 金瓜石.
Jinguas.
Mm-hmm.
We were basically in the clouds. Like it was spectacular. Have your cup of coffee, the clouds rolling
Mm-hmm.
through. It was just amazing.
And we actually used tourists during the trip,
We
right?
did.
So,
100%.
so what did you think? Like it's so cool, right? You build the tool to solve a problem. We used it on the
For
trip
everything.
for everything.
For everything.
And what do you think was your favorite? What do you think was the most
Yeah.
useful part?
Probably the calendar feature
The calendar
because no
feature.
matter
Mm-hmm,
where
mm-hmm.
we
I agree.
were,
Yep.
you could open up your calendar and everything that you had planned on Taurus
Mm-hmm.
was accessible without having to open up Taurus.
Yeah, having everything synced into your calendar just made it really
Right.
easy to, you
Right.
get.
So like we're in Kaohsiung
Uh-huh.
and I can see here's our hotel and our confirmation
Uh-huh.
code. These are the places that we're planning to go in
Mm-hmm.
Kaohsiung. This is how we get there. All of that was just
And,
easily accessible through the
and then
calendar.
like at night, like you'll get reminders and alerts
Yeah.
like your next day,
So
what's
many reminders.
happening. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was I think the calendar was also probably my most used part because
Yeah.
it's not like we were going in there and like, doing a lot of reshuffling things.
Hmm.
But we were like adding things.
We
So
were
we
adding
went to
things.
places where we didn't plan and we just
Right.
added in.
Yeah.
But that's it. That takes us to the next point is like why did we add it in? Like what was the purpose of that?
Right. So I think when you take lots of pictures and you do lots of things and then you come back from a trip and everybody's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, like what did you do? Can I see pictures? Really,
Mm-hmm.
no
Mm-hmm.
one wants to scroll through that.
Mm-hmm.
But also you want to remember in case you go back there
Mm-hmm.
also.
Mm-hmm.
So through tourists, we would add maybe a place that we went to eat and
Mm-hmm.
everybody
Mm-hmm.
takes pictures of
Mm-hmm.
the food that they eat at those restaurants.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we could add the pictures to those places. And now I can say, well, I ate at this place and this is what I ate because honestly, we ate all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
And for me to remember where I got what,
Mm-hmm.
impossible. But through tourists,
Mm-hmm.
I have links to those things. It's
And
great.
so, but what's really cool is like one of the features that kind of big features that kind of came up to my mind at least as we were preparing to go on this trip is like, hey, once we finish this trip, wouldn't it be great if we could share this trip, right?
Yes.
And that's how we came up with tourist stories, right?
Yes.
And the story. Well, why don't you tell me like what's the story like? What?
So the story allows you to take your trip,
Uh huh.
pull it into kind of its own URL with
Uh huh.
like a format already created for
Mm-hmm.
you. And
Mm-hmm.
you can put your pictures in there and the places that you visited. And you could put little blurbs in, videos if you like to make videos like this man likes to do.
And it's
And
all.
it's all accessible. So I can share that link with friends and family and they can see kind of the most spectacular pieces
Yeah.
of our trip that would be the things I'd pull out of my photos to share
But you
regardless.
know what? Like as the unofficial social media, people may not know this, as the unofficial social
Mhm.
media manager for tourists on
Yeah,
Facebook and Instagram. Obviously, stories
it's
are
very different.
very different, right? So what do you think? Like,
You can only share so much on Instagram and Facebook if you're
uh,
doing a story or a reel. Like they get really long. People only, at least I only watch to a certain extent. you can only, put so much text in there because then nobody wants to read that either. So through the tourist story, you can actually almost put together your own mini blog, right? Of your trip, and then share that. But it doesn't require other things that you might put in a regular blog. This is like your trip blog, and it's just about your trip. It also shares kind of your travel information, hotels, where you ate. All of those things sync over from tourists.
But this gets me to my next point is that like once you've built that, right, it's really obvious. Like you share it with someone, they're like, oh my god, that's an awesome trip. I want to go on this trip. Where'd you guys go? I'm planning a trip there next year. So once we came back, ended up building this feature to personalize the trip.
Oh, the button.
The button. So once you have the story and you publish it, now there's this button that you can just click, and it's a really nice button. What do you think?
It is. He clicks it all day, all night. He's
it,
cooking at the stove. Click the button. He's brushing his teeth. Click the button. Walking to the bus stop. Button.
But it's a really nice
It's
button.
a nice button.
And what that button does though is like if you click the button, it creates a complete copy of the trip. Anyone can take that trip now.
Yeah.
You can personalize it. You can keep just the
Ship
places
the days
you want.
around.
You can
take
remove
things
things.
out.
Like if you're taking a 5-day trip, you can't do all the things we did, but you can pick the 5 days you really want to do. Yeah. Well, there's also been a lot of other changes, right?
Oh,
so like that's
changes.
it's not just tourists. The software's been changing. What else has changed?
So this man right here has decided that Turas is life.
Tourist is life.
So
Tourist is life.
Before we went on our trip, he left his job because Turas is now his job.
Tourist is life. So now I'm full time on Tourist.
Yeah.
It's been it's just there's some things that I've wanted to work on that like nights and weekends would have probably taken months to build. Like some of those features, early features, the big ones, they took weeks to build, right? And now working on it full time, like there's a lot of interesting things I can build. Some that you may or may not have seen yet. Like what's the
button?
The button.
The button I get to see. He's shifted around some things on the screen.
User interface has been upgraded.
Yeah,
much better,
upgraded
right?
a lot.
Much
it
better.
definitely
So
looks nicer.
Looks nicer.
Seems easier to use.
Easier to use. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure there's more.
There's more, and definitely more. So one of the big things that having all this extra time now, because I have no job. I built the upgraded maps integration.
Yes.
Right. So that's a really cool feature.
It is cool. That I played with.
Because now you can plot an entire day like on the map. And see like, okay, for this day, where are we traveling?
Right. Without having to pull it out of Tourist into Google Maps.
Exactly.
You can do it right through Tourist.
And there's like these the pins on the map.
Oh, they're so cute.
They take the icon and they take the color that you assign, so you can really like for really OCD people, you can build very custom personalized maps that kind of like. I mean, I don't know what your color coding means, but I guess
I don't know what it means either. But there's a thought process in there.
Reason,
there is. It kind of makes sense in my head.
But if you're like a super OCD planner, Turas is a great tool. You can use it. So I think like having my full attention working on it, it'll be really interesting to see what we can come up with. What's there's another change, right? Another big change is. We have a co-founder, right?
Co-founder.
So we have a co-founder, Gary, who's
maybe he'll join us in a video.
Maybe he'll join us in a video one day. He's in LA, so either he's gonna fly out here or we take a trip down to LA.
I mean, it's not bad.
Not bad. We can put it in Turas, right?
Yeah.
All right, so
he can meet us in Palm Springs.
We can meet us in Palm Springs.
There we go.
So we'll see how things go. It's kind of venturing into the unknown now.
Oh yeah.
So now, so hopefully we'll make it work, because otherwise
he's gonna have to get a job.
All right, so it's been great to catch up with you on this, because it's been a while since we did one of these.
Yeah, we keep trying to, then life has gotten in the way.
Life has gotten in the way, and Turas.
So
here's to making Turas awesome. All right, so if you haven't checked out Turas, Turas.app. Check it out, and if you like it, share it.
Awesome.